Okay, we're on the next section, starting on number 12 on this semester exam review. Pretty much all of these problems are straight calculator, at least everything down to 23. Or maybe not. Actually, all these two rows here are all calculator. The way you can tell is there's no variables at all, right? You just plug it in, get the answer. So number 12 is cube root of 729. Let's type in cube root of 729. The root button, like I mentioned on a previous video, it's the caret top key, but you push control first. You see the little N and then the little radical X. I'm going to do control caret top, and this is what I get on the screen. So I can put whatever number I need for the root, and then I put whatever number inside. So cube root of 729, enter. The answer is 9. I can just answer these straight on this paper, at least for the video. Go ahead and turn this in on your same separate paper when you turn this in, if you are turning it in. This one doesn't have a number out front on the radicals, so it is by default a 2, square root. You could use the same button and put a 2, or you could use the control x squared button, gives you square root. Square root of 225 is 15. Number 14, you have the fifth root of 32. So we go back to that other button we used. The fifth root of 32, you get 2. Number 15, the fourth root of 1. The fourth root of 1 is going to be 1. All right, that's that part. Let's do 16. 16, you're writing each expression in radical form. Actually, I fibbed to you. This is not calculator because they want it in a radical form. Okay, so basically radical form, like I mentioned on here, it's when you're knocking over the tree, basically. You're knocking over the fraction exponent into that little tree, and you're making it like this. Okay? So we're going to do that with number 16. It's actually even easier than putting it in the calculator. So we have x to the 3/2 power. We knock over the tree, the 3 goes to the right, the 2 stays on the left, and what you end up with is the square root, right? Let me write it here. The square root of x to the 3rd power on the inside. Now, notice I didn't write the 2 because it's by default a square root. The only time you need to write that number on the radical is when it's not a 2. Okay, now we have 36x raised to the 1/2 power. All right? So the entire thing is affected by the 1/2 because it's in parentheses. So I knock over the tree, the 1 goes over here, the 2 goes over there. So we end up with the square root of 36x to the 1st power. Now anything to the 1st power is the same thing, so that 1 doesn't really do anything. But we're in the square root of 36x. Now we can take the square root of 36. The square root of 36 is 6, right? So that can get pulled out of this radical. We end up with getting 6, but the x cannot get pulled out, so we end up with 6 square root of x as the answer for number 17. 6 square root of x. Number 18, 25x to the 1/2. Now take a look at this one. This 25x is not in parentheses, so it's very different from 17. 17, the whole thing went in the radical. 18, the 25 is not in the radical. It's going to stay outside. So the 25 stays outside, and then I have x to the 1/2 power. That becomes square root of x. So we get 25 square root of x for number 18. Number 19, 81 x to the 2/3 power. Okay, again, the 81 is not in parentheses. It's not affected by that 2/3. So 81's out here, and we have the tree knocks over, the 3 stays on the left. So we have 81 and then cube root of x squared. The 3's out here on the root, it's the root, and then the 2 is the exponent of the x inside the radical. 81 cube root of x squared. All right, that's enough for this video. We will move on to the next section on the next video.